Hey guys, gals, friends and pals, this is Paul Acevedo of Windows Central, here with a video review of the GAEMS Vanguard Black Edition Personal Gaming Environment, which is a portable case and monitor for your Xbox One, PlayStation 4, 360, or PlayStation 3. Before we go on, I just want to warn everyone, do not remove these straps from the holder right here that keeps them in place. I thought you might need to do that in order to get the console in more easily, but if you do, they're really hard to get back in. I had to use needle nose pliers. Learned it the hard way, did not like it. So be sure you leave those straps in. You can pull them out almost all the way, but you always want to have at least a little bit left. Now we're going to put the Xbox One in here. It's a little bit of a tight fit. Again, you don't want to pull the straps all the way out, but there is enough room. This foam portion here, I understand when the Xbox One came out, they redesigned it slightly just to accommodate the power supply. The plug for the power supply is a little tight back here. Luckily, they did make a cutout for it. Now we pull these through, tighten each strap. If you're actually transporting your Xbox One with this thing, you definitely don't want it to have any kind of give. Now, if you were using a smaller console like the 360, GAEMS recommends that you keep the accessories in the sides here, using the accessory pouches. With the Xbox One, they say not to do that, and I don't think it's because nothing could fit in here. I think it's because the actual power supply would not fit in properly, so they don't want you to do it. That would not be a very safe way to keep your controller in there. If we were just transporting the Xbox One, now we would close up the case. There is a little bit of clearance between the monitor and the console. Not much, but there is enough. Then we lock it up. Put these locks on. The locks have a nice hinge. They're actually pretty good. There we go. It's ready to carry. You can also put the shoulder strap on. I took it off because it doesn't look that great in pictures. But it goes right on, although the first time you have to put these metal rings in, and that's a little hard. So this is how you would walk around with the Xbox One itself, but again, you are going to need to keep the accessories somewhere else. So let's see how well these accessory pouches do. At minimum, you'll want to have the power supply for the GAEMS unit tucked away in there. Comes with an 8-inch HDMI cable. That's all you need. There's still a little room for more cables if you had it, or you can put the remote control for the GAEMS unit inside. Then for your Xbox One, you'll want to carry the power supply. That's the main thing. Okay, I got the power supply all the way in and I can cinch it shut. There is not a lot of room after you put in the whole cable there. You could maybe throw in like a headset adapter if you really had to. Question, does a controller still fit in this bag? Answer, yes. You can get one controller in there. And that's about it. That is everything you need just to play the console with the GAEMS unit. However, it's unlikely that you're going to fit an external hard drive in here unless you have a really tiny one. And you won't be able to transport your headset either. It's kind of a ghetto job here, but you could tie one of these bags to the Vanguard if you're going to carry it around. But really, I'm sure the intention, if you're using these externally, is to put them in a backpack. So you're going to need another carrying case if you use the Xbox One, at least a backpack or a messenger bag. Then you could put these accessories in, bring your hard drive and a headset, and then you've really got everything you could need on the go. This is a nice hard plastic case. It's definitely of sturdier construction than something like a soft messenger bag, so that means it should protect from more shock impact. You do have a hard drive inside, just like if you're carrying a computer around, so you never want to bang it around too hard. It's a nice way to carry your console around. Also, GAEMS allows you to swap out this circular thing here. You can just pull it off. Then you can get custom ones, and you can put a custom skin on here too. Looks perfectly fine how it is. I don't think you should advertise that you're carrying a game system around, so I'd rather keep it as nondescript as possible. It still kind of looks like a gaming thing, but it doesn't specifically say what's in here, so hopefully people wouldn't mess with you. Also, while we look underneath, we can see that there is a kickstand here. This is to allow you to control the angle of the monitor. You can use it at two different angles. Without further ado, let's open this thing up and use the Xbox One with it. First, I plug in the power supply to the games itself. The power port is right here under the menu controls. Plug in my Xbox One. The power supply cord doesn't exactly line up unless you shift the system around a little bit. But that's fine. You get a certain level of protection here. Now we plug in the HDMI cable. Another thing is that you always have to unplug the cable when you're closing up the unit. That should be pretty obvious. I'm also going to plug in my Xbox One's external hard drive because that is how I roll. So let's turn it on first. Now we can turn on the Xbox One. The Xbox One is booting up. It's going to take a little while. Yeah, I don't know. In my experience, the actual power button on the remote doesn't work. The menu button works. You can move through the menus. They're pretty basic, generic menus. But I just can't get the monitor to turn off with it, so I'm not sure why it would have a power button. Who knows? You can use the remote control to adjust brightness. I've got it at 70 right now. Seems good. I need to do some calibration eventually. You can adjust volume. Turn it down a little bit, and you can instantly mute it as well. Let's take a quick look at the controls on the unit itself. Here is power. You have volume up and down. If you push them both at once, it instantly mutes. Brightness up and down, and menu. So the same things you could do with the remote control, basically. The front side USB port of the Xbox One is not covered up by the straps. And you do leave the straps on usually when you have the console. You just leave it tightened on there with the console inside. I could loosen it if I wanted to, but there's no real reason to until I'm ready to take the console out. Alright guys, now we're showing off the Vanguard's monitor by racing in Forza Motorsport 6. The monitor included here is a 720p monitor, so that's not the actual best quality of monitor you can find, but it is ultra thin, which is necessary for it to be able to fit inside the case along with the console, and especially not add too much weight. If you're used to playing on a 1080p monitor at close range, you certainly can tell that there's a little bit of a difference in picture quality, but still looks really nice. The viewing angle isn't too bad either. I believe two people could comfortably sit around and play this thing pretty well. Play a nice two-player game of some kind. The speakers can get a lot louder, and they are pretty decent speakers when you're comparing it to most built-in monitor speakers. But the Vanguard has two built-in headphone jacks, so you can just plug in headphones if you want better sound quality than that. Or you could use your Xbox One's optical audio output if you were taking it somewhere with a surround sound system. So the potential of the GAEMS Vanguard should be pretty obvious. You can carry this thing around with you and play games literally anywhere that you have access to a power supply. So you could be playing games at an airport, for instance. Stop at an airport bar or restaurant, sit next to an outlet, plug in and just play a game and have a lot of fun that way. Normally I'd be having to do that with my laptop or with my PlayStation Vita, but here I could play a full quality Xbox One game that way. I'm pretty happy with the GAEMS Vanguard. For $350 you're getting a very solid case with a nice portable monitor. Not the best portable monitor out there. It'd be nice if they offered a more expensive option that did have 1080p. But still, most people aren't going to want to pay more than $350 for this. And in fact, I know a lot of people who wouldn't even want to pay that much. It just depends on whether you have a need for this kind of product. I personally do carry my Xbox One back and forth from the office, so it is very helpful to me to have a nice case for it, and especially the built-in monitor so that I don't have to worry about hookups once I get there. You can leave your Xbox One in this thing all the time if you wanted. Just swap the HDMI cable out with a connection to your larger screen if you have one at home. And then when you have to take the console somewhere, you could just pop the shorter cable in your accessory bag and carry the whole thing around with you. We should talk about venting. Some people have been concerned about whether or not this allows your Xbox One to vent enough heat. The Xbox One does have vents right up here, and you're covering them partially with the straps, which is not terrific. However, there is a whole lot of vent space up here, so a lot of the heat is still escaping. But it wouldn't be a bad idea to loosen the straps if you're concerned about that. Now all that heat is able to escape. And I think anybody who travels a lot with their Xbox One could really benefit from something like this. If you're willing to put the money into it, you don't just want to carry your console around, you want a screen to play it on, then the GAEMS Vanguard is a really cool product. I do recommend it. Do you do much traveling with your consoles, guys? Leave a comment and let us know. Thanks for watching. Read our full review at windowscentral.com. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch. And remember, don't hate, appreciate.